In Montana, in the middle of the western Great Plains, a major event is taking place that represents the pride of the Native American people. Young Sioux and Cheyenne riders are preparing to take part in a reenactment of the Native American wars of the 19th century.
Go to war with Custer and the cavalry.
In the opposite camp, the men from the 7th U.S. Cavalry Regiment are also making their preparations.
Boots and saddles!
For 2 hours, the story of how the West was won will be reenacted. A period that had dramatic consequences for the Native American people who were driven from their lands.
Important in history, so our children and their children can grow up in a world that history hasn't been canceled, it hasn't been changed, it's real, and it'll live on.
Come on, follow me! Let's go!
Nowadays, there's no longer any shame in reenacting the US Army's worst defeat, the Battle of the Little Bighorn, although it's an event that was not mentioned for many years. On the 25th of June 1876, General Custer's troops launched an assault against the enemy village. But the 600 soldiers were unaware that the camp contained several thousand Native American warriors, led by the renowned chief, Crazy Horse. After several hours of fierce fighting, the 7th Regiment was decimated. More than 260 soldiers were killed.
Okay. You get a picture of me wearing your hat, having your gun?
Even though this legendary battle would be the Native Americans' last victory against the US Army, for Jack, its reenactment is the symbol of restored pride.
He's going to have him take that and dance with it. I want it to keep going. I want to preserve what I have for my children, for my grandchildren, for their grandchildren. So it's for perpetuating the culture, the way of life.
In Montana, as is true virtually all across the United States, after coming close to being extinguished, the Native American spirit is beginning to infuse the New World again. For centuries, Native Americans were the only peoples to inhabit America and its wide open spaces. Whether Sioux, Cheyenne, or Cherokee, hundreds of native tribes developed their culture, language, and traditions. But from the 16th century onwards, European colonization had a drastic impact on these communities. They were ravaged by war and disease. Massacred in millions, the Native Americans who survived were discriminated against and confined to reservations. But in recent years, a protest movement has taken hold of the indigenous peoples. Like other minorities in the country, Native Americans are fighting to defend their rights.
It's starting to flourish again, and we're getting our identity.
Some of their members have even been elected to Congress, like Deb Haaland, the first Native American to become a cabinet secretary in 2021.
I'll be fierce for all of us, for our planet and all of our protected land.
Nowadays, the United States has 574 tribes located across almost all the country. They're reviving their traditions and reconnecting with their ancestral way of life. In Montana, the Blackfeet Nation has taken up bison hunting again, but in 21st century style.
Straight in front of us, over by the fence, the biggest one. See him?
Jesse is involved in the renaissance of a dangerous extreme sport, the Indian relay race.
Come on, Interactive, come on!
Some American Indian communities are even managing to buy back their ancestral lands, like the Fort Berthold tribe, which is expanding its territory thanks to money from oil.
We're a little over $500 million a year in total revenues.
Previously seen as second-class citizens, the 9 million Native Americans are now reconquering America. The wild and remote land of South Dakota. Pine Ridge Reservation is here, sacred territory belonging to the Lakota Nation. Ashley's family has lived here for several generations. In her living room, this 35-year-old is keeping ancestral know-how alive.
I feel like I grew up watching my mom make her dresses, and then she said, okay, well, you're getting older, you need to try to start making your own dresses, you know, and you're old enough, and it's a good skill to have, especially if you're serious about dancing. You need to learn how to make your stuff.
In 2 days' time, Ashley will be representing her tribe at a dance competition called a powwow. So she's paying careful attention to every detail to ensure that her outfit is perfect.
This is a jingle dress, and these are the jingles and the cones that we dance with, and it's in Lakota we call it a sna wachi, and sna is the sound that it makes, the jingling sound. And
the young woman has been dancing since she was a child. A passion that she's passed on to one of her 3 children. Washoshi is in 3rd grade. At 7 years old, he's already an experienced dancer.
This is our bells. We use them. We use them for dancing. We put them on our ankles. Warriors used it in some battles to scare the people.
You want Sunday's hair too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ashley is bringing up her children in the American Indian culture. So at home, she's teaching them Lakota, the language of their ancestors.
How do you say
Igmu.
Igmu? Zin.
Sigawa.
Mas tinchila.
Tinchila.
Like this one. Zin.
Today, less than 10% of the reservation's inhabitants speak this language. However, in recent years, more and more schools have been giving Lakota lessons.
There's a generation now, and it's a movement that the language is coming back and that people are really wanting to learn. Are you going to carry on the language? Say yes! Are you going to carry on the language? Ake numpa.
Ashley and her son celebrate this pride in their identity at each dance competition. In 2 days' time, they'll be taking part in the largest powwow in the region.
Do you remember the ABC part?
South Dakota is the state that embodies the Native Americans' revenge on history. In the Black Hills Mountains, 2 opposing symbols are carved into the rock. Mount Rushmore, depicting 4 of the most notable American presidents, and a half a dozen miles away, the huge sculpture of the renowned Native American chief Crazy Horse, a battle of memories that plays out each year on the streets of the capital.
Happy Native American Day. That's right. Hey, who's proud to be Lakota here today? Who's proud to be Lakota?
It's Indigenous Peoples Day in Rapid City. It's celebrated in October each year, and the date is no coincidence.
Hey guys, what's up? We are live here, ending the silence. We love you guys.
In the rest of the country at the same time, they're commemorating Christopher Columbus' discovery of America. It's a public holiday for Americans, but it has always symbolized oppression for Indigenous peoples.
Columbus was a man that did bad things. We should never honor murderers and things like that. So Indigenous Peoples Day is a day to remember those 529 years of genocide, and that we're still here, especially here in contested treaty lands. So no American here. We're before that.
South Dakota is the first American state to have replaced Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. Since then, a dozen other states have followed suit.
This was their lake. The English came, and I mean there was a lot of slaughter. You know, they deserve to have their day.
Hey.
Oh my gosh!
At the other end of the city, whole families are arriving from all over the country. They're coming to fly the flag for their respective tribes at the Black Hills Powwow, a dance competition. 1,200 dancers are dressed in their finest. Hand-embroidered clothes, bone necklaces and headdresses made from real eagle feathers. Aged from 4 to 77, they will go head-to-head in different dance routines. The most impressive is this warrior dance with acrobatic movements.
1 group, 2 songs. Here we go.
In the stands, Ashley is arranging her outfit.
Every detail is important, from my head to my toes. Yeah, and we always have to make sure everything's put on nice and tight.
This year, Ashley is defending her title. So, just a few minutes before going on stage, the champion is a little nervous.
What's more challenging for me dancing this style is staying in shape, staying fit to dance the songs. The songs are about 3 to 4 minutes long, and we're dancing the whole time, and we're on our toes.
Women's fancy. Right after this.
Ashley is competing against some 15 participants in a dance routine known as the jingle dance. In days gone by, this dance was performed during ceremonies to cure the sick. Every step must be in time with the drums. After an intense 4 minutes, Ashley can finally catch her breath.
Thank you, Bad Nation.
Really good. I felt like I did my best, and I felt like I did good, so I'm happy.
The young woman will have to wait until the end of the competition to find out the results. These dancers are not the only ones reconnecting with their traditions. Throughout the country, there's a renaissance in Native American culture. The Blackfeet Indian Reservation lies on the border between Montana and Canada. A legendary animal from the western Great Plains has reappeared on this land, the bison.
We'll just get close enough to have them in the background. Yeah. Because otherwise they'll take off.
Members of the Blackfeet tribe, Erwin Carlson and Christina Momaruni, have reintroduced 600 bison onto the reservation. Come from Canada, the animals roam at their leisure over a surface area of 65 square kilometers. For Erwin and Christina, the bison is a sacred animal.
Those little ones, Erwin, they look pretty new, eh?
They are.
Yeah, those are new babies.
No,
really
those are all
new,
new babies.
right?
All the red ones are
wow,
new babies.
One mama looks so blonde. She looks like a LA mama.
Makes me feel good to see, these back on our landscape, and especially these animals are kind of special to us. A big part of our culture back that was gone for so long. 4, 5,
6, 7. Oh,
6.
He was right.
Before the European settlers arrived, there were almost 60 million bison in North America. But after the West was won, the animal virtually disappeared.
So there was less than 500 left at the turn of the century, early 1900s.
They were exterminated or killed off just to make way for the white settlement, for their cattle. And like I say, for killing them, was a way of trying to, even get rid of us also.
Thanks to reintroduction policies, the United States now has 500,000 animals. But while this huge beast is venerated and protected, once a year the community is reviving an ancestral cultural activity, bison hunting, with an educational aim to teach younger generations about the animal's importance. The ceremony begins with a blessing. Cale, aged 14, will have the honor of going hunting.
Pretty good, my boy. It's the holy paint. They paint it for the hunter going out on the hunt. Yeah.
Is it to give good luck or?
Yeah, good luck. Mm-hmm.
Cale will be accompanied by his father, Chase, and a handful of men from the tribe.
Are you gonna ride with us, Smokey? Yeah. Sounds good. I'll put him right in, what side do you want to be on? Passenger. Passenger? Okay.
There are no bows or arrows here. Instead, a long-distance hunting rifle, fitted with a scope.
Okay.
A dozen states in the USA allow bison hunting for population control.
Always look at them before you do it. I go on how they, what kind of if it's in good shape. It's got a lot of fat on it. You want something that's good to eat, just like the old days.
Just like the old days. Well, not quite.
It's a modern way of hunting it from the pickup. Because they're so tame, you don't have to worry about them running too far. So the quicker you get them before they get excited, the better.
Just one animal is killed during the hunt, so Cale and his father choose their target carefully.
Straight in front of us, over by the fence, the biggest one. See him?
Yeah. Between those two posts.
Yeah, that one. See? Good size, young bull, nice. That's the one. Okay, get your bullet in.
With all the weight of his 14 years, this high school pupil faces the largest land mammal in North America.
As soon as he turns his head, there he is.
Cale has to shoot the beast with a precise shot behind the ear to kill it outright.
Oh, good one.
But the hunters no longer have the skills of their ancestors, and it takes them 2 attempts.
Couldn't get a good shot, but it was good. Yeah. He presented himself too. He come right up and see him. Look.
Yeah.
Oh, there I said, there he is. Yeah. It's awesome. Huh?
I feel good because I feel like my ancestors did this before I could, and it got taken away and we couldn't do it for so long. And my grandpa and them finally brought the buffalo back, and we could finally butcher again.
A great hunting trophy that weighs almost a ton. The bison is brought back to the community to be cut up.
We're training the next generation of hunters.
The Blackfeet Nation use every part of the bison. For centuries, the animal formed the basis of their way of life.
It was not only food, medicine, it was tools in our shelter. The hide was used for the clothes, right? Was the clothes and the lodge or the teepee. The meat, again, was used for everything. The fat was used for ceremonial.
The meat from the animal will be distributed to the whole community. In 2016, the bison was elevated to the status of a national emblem on a par with the eagle, a way of reconciling America with its painful past. Long forbidden by the American government, indigenous cultural practices were gradually reintroduced over the course of the 20th century, like powwows, which reappeared in the 1930s. In Rapid City, South Dakota, it's the turn of Ashley's son Washoshi to perform on stage. The young boy has 3 minutes to convince the jury. Washoshi is paying homage to his ancestors with this dance routine.
They're arrogant, they're confident. That's what the chicken dance represents. The symbology of a male trying to impress the female.
The boy is one of the youngest participants, yet at the age of 7, he already has the ease of a champion.
That was good. I just kind of off a beat. Good job,
Oh, that's good. Good job, babe.
go change now. Ready?
And
At the end of the day, it's time to award the prizes.
payouts ready to go. Stand by, veterans.
Washoshi will be the first to find out the jury's decision.
Your champion, junior traditional number 223, Jose Garcia.
The young boy wins first prize in his category.
Good job, Rob.
The dancer goes home with a check for $250. And above all, he's made his father proud.
That's number 362, Shadeen Shabala. Blackfeet Dene.
It's all about the future generations. Yeah, you have to, so that the culture will live. The powwow is a good way to teach them how to be social.
This year, Ashley has to hand over her title. However, she consoles herself with third place and a check for $700.
I'm really proud. I feel so lucky and blessed to be Native American, to be Indigenous, and to be Lakota. And they say that this is Lakota country.
She should have got first.
While the Native Americans are proudly asserting their identity nowadays, their fight doesn't stop there. They're also looking to recover their land. In Northern California, the territory is wild and not well known to tourists. 260 miles long, the Klamath River runs through the Pacific Mountain Ranges. It's a river whose ecosystem has long been threatened by hydroelectric dams. Molly and her husband Frankie have been fighting for years to protect this environment.
Do I need a turn?
No, keep going, you're good. Maybe a little the other way. To the left, yeah.
Molly is the director of an environmental NGO. Frankie is the vice chairman of the Yurok tribe.
The river looks amazing.
Each week they come to fish for salmon here.
It's our river, and we've been here since time immemorial, our ancestors. We say it's in our DNA, and everything we do is based on this river. Our fish, our management, our villages. Looks like a good fishing spot.
But for some time now, the fishing has been far from great.
No fish today. Nothing on this drift, but caught a stick, so we know the net's working anyway.
The river level has been too low for 3 years. Drought, dams, and the water distributed to farmers are to blame.
Even though we're still not catching as many fish as we would like, and we're not filling our smokehouse, we know, in the next 10 years, it's going to be better.
The couple have regained a sense of hope because, thanks to their fight, the salmon are set to repopulate the river. It all began in September 2002. Almost 70,000 salmon died within a few days. The images of decomposing fish shocked California, and above all, the local tribes, who were worried about the risk of extinction.
The one that was, the really core of the problem that was killing our salmon was the dams and the toxic blue-green algae.
So you can see how the toxic water, how the blooms, how the algae blooms are.
And then it became our mission to remove the dam. That was step one in our goal to restore the Klamath Basin. If we couldn't.
Leading a group of activists, the couple would protest for years, not just in the United States, but also in Scotland, outside the premises of the company that operates the dams.
Look at me, it's young, dude.
20 years of effort, and just when they thought it was over, victory.
It's still awesome.
Following a ruling by the US government, the first of the 4 dams was destroyed in September 2023, an event that Molly and Frankie wouldn't have missed for the world.
It was unbelievable. We'd hear the timelines and we'd talk and go through, and the days that we'd go out and actually see the dam blast. I mean, it was like we were seeing it, but it was like we weren't seeing it. It was like a dream.
By the end of the year, the other 3 dams will be entirely dismantled.
Wanted to make burgers?
While the justice system has allowed the Yuroks to gradually take back control of their land, certain tribes have found another way to reconquer them, by way of millions of dollars. In North Dakota, Fort Berthold Reservation is currently buying back the plains of its ancestors, thanks to a treasure that it contains in its depths: oil. Black gold flows freely here and has made this Native American territory a reservation worth millions. At the head of this oil empire is Mark Fox, who's been chairman of the tribe for 10 years.
6 years ago, when they started building the school, it was just a field over here. So all this has happened really in the last 7-8 years.
At Fort Berthold, state-of-the-art infrastructure is springing up like mushrooms. A fire station, a police station, a brand new stadium, and a medical center. The tribe's chairman really looks after the reservation's 8,000 inhabitants.
This is an example of what we're doing here. So all this is infrastructure, very costly, but very necessary.
With these new constructions, Mark Fox hopes to achieve full employment in a few months' time.
We're looking at a reservation that at one time had 70% unemployment. Today, they're claiming the counties that are part of this reservation only have 2.5 to 3% unemployment. I believe it's a little bit higher, probably closer to 10 to 15, but that's far better than 70%.
Thanks to these projects.
Looking good, looking really good.
The chairman of the tribe is a man highly appreciated by his citizens. This ex-veteran has already been re-elected twice by the tribal council, the equivalent of the municipal council.
Hi, young lady, how are you? From Hawaii, good to see you.
Today, he's celebrating the retirement of a municipal employee.
Congratulations.
After 60 years of good and faithful service as a cook.
An honor and privilege to be here to come in and share with Luana the reservation. We got a congratulations card, we got $200 gift cards and a $100 bill for $500 to spend any way she wants to spend, so it was welcome.
But as a good tribal chief, the chairman takes the opportunity to talk up his record.
Our nation is so grateful that have done so much for all of us and really made Fort Berthold one of the best places to live. We have hundreds of millions of dollars of development spread throughout.
If Fort Berthold has become a new El Dorado, it's thanks to the discovery of a huge shale gas field in 2006. The reservation has experienced an oil boom. It now has just under 3,000 wells, and the Native American community collects $40 million a month in oil revenue.
All these things that occurred to us, put us in a position where we're very dependent on the federal government just to survive, just to live. And we're changing that. We don't want to depend on the federal government. We want to regain what we had.
To make his tribe self-sufficient, Mark Fox is having a giant greenhouse built to an innovative design. The vegetable garden will be heated all year round by the surplus exhaust gas burnt in the flares, a project costing an astronomical amount, $70 million.
A little bit more every time I come.
Yep. Like I say, right now with the automation, with the sun, a little bit of sun we had this morning, shades automatically.
Full production and within 9 months, I believe, unless that's changed.
Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, strawberries. More than 900 tons of food is set to be produced here all year long. Enough to feed lots of people.
We're going to grow our own food. Not only grow our own food for our own purposes, it's also going to maybe help provide emergency food to food banks across the United States and the world as well. but grow food to export out and bring in revenue, more revenue for our economic development. That's the plan, that's the key.
90% of the reservation's revenue comes from hydrocarbons. But the tribe knows that this honeypot is in danger of running dry one day, so it's investing heavily. In his office, Mark Fox spends his days signing checks with several zeros, with barely a glance.
Yeah, this is an example of a community park that we're building. Basically about a $9 million, that one. This one is apartment buildings. This one is building a new community health resource center, one of our clinics and stuff. Yeah, $50 million project.
Thanks to these millions, the chairman of the tribe is achieving a masterstroke.
All right, there's our map.
Buying back almost 300 square kilometers of ancestral lands.
Here will be now part of our reservation, expanding our boundaries to the west. And down here, we acquired along the Missouri River. This land, the other non-Indians who were coming in to try to take our land and live here didn't want it. But that's where the oil is today. So now, the land that they left for us, that they thought was no good, is now give us an opportunity to buy back and regain the lands that they took away. That's your irony right there.
If Mark Fox is to be believed, hydrocarbons are a blessing for the tribe, but certain residents see them as more of a curse. The Mandaree segment in the east of the reservation.
And the rain stopped. It's great.
Yes.
Jeff Gerhardt works for an environmental NGO. Today, he is installing a small box in the garden belonging to Lisa and her daughter, a device for measuring air quality.
Shed.
So then once you plug it back in, there's a little blue light here. Okay, so we're good. Excellent. We did 7 last year, and then we have another 10 to 15 that will be going up this year. So, yeah, we're hoping to expand the network and then kind of build out a higher density of monitors so that we can do more sophisticated analysis of the air quality patterns.
Right now, what I expect from this is to educate our people on the air and what we're breathing from oil and gas extraction.
Lisa is getting this monitor installed because she and her husband have been having breathing difficulties over the past few years. In 2015, worried about the oil frenzy, she decided to document the effects on the environment. Lisa and Walter took photos and videos of the flares, which release pollutant gases such as methane.
This is all the gases that are coming out of that well site. And it's invisible. You can't see it with the naked eye. Without this flare imaging camera, the way it is right here, you can't see that. And you can't smell it because it's odorless. Got a consistent cough, got congested.
And that physician said, well, you guys have what I call the Bakken cough. She said, because I have about 16 oil field workers that come in with what you guys have.
As well as the harmful effects on health, Lisa fears drilling's environmental impact. A few kilometers from her home, shale gas and oil wells have been dug on the shores of the Missouri River.
Okay, there you go. That's exactly one of the things that happens right there. The flare is flaring huger, bigger. So when this gets bigger, that's where we talk about how the earth rumbles. Yeah. There's wells all throughout the shoreline here. So what it is that they're drilling under the lake bed. So if anything happens, you know, it's going to be the first thing to impact. And what we do up here flows downstream and we impact everybody else downstream.
Lisa fears there will be an oil spill and criticizes elected officials for turning a blind eye to the negative impacts of the oil miracle. She's worried for the generations to come.
Well, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I know it's improved a lot of our people's lives. We're no longer poor. So we're paying a price with our lives for oil and gas. So everything that the Mother Earth provides for us, the water, the soil, the air, we're giving that all up for money.
Last July, Lisa and Walter won their first victory. An oil group was found guilty of excessive greenhouse gas emissions in the reservation. It will have to pay a historic fine of over $240 million. While the Fort Berthold tribe is getting rich thanks to oil, in the rest of the country, Native Americans remain the most marginalized group. Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota is one of the poorest areas in the country. Along the city's main street, there's a service station and a few fast food outlets. It's a remote spot, far from everything. Life expectancy here is the lowest in the United States, at a mere 50 years or so.
I'm at Wolf Creek. I'll head to that call in Manderson.
Captain Campbell is called out to a case of domestic violence. On Native American reservations, while crimes come under the jurisdiction of the federal authorities, the tribal police is responsible for misdemeanors and minor offenses.
Hi, how you doing?
This is the man who contacted the police. His son is drunk and has threatened to hit him.
What the fuck is this fucking shit going on right here?
You just drinking today?
The man refuses to answer. He knows that by drinking alcohol, he's committed an offense.
Give me my fucking boots.
Come on.
Give me your boots.
Because selling and consuming alcohol have been prohibited since the reservation was created in 1889.
Not anymore.
This legislation is virtually unique in the United States.
Because it's alcohol related and alcohol is illegal, then we probably respond more to stuff like that than anybody else.
Introduced with the arrival of European settlers, alcohol continues to ravage Native American communities. Here, 80% of the population suffers from alcoholism. It was to fight this scourge that this former Marine changed his uniform 15 years ago.
I want to make a difference to be a cop. People like to bash. I was like, oh, well, you're not going to make a difference. You know, you could be Superman, you're not going to make a difference. But you can come to work every day and do your job and make a difference for maybe 1 or 2 people in their life on that day. You're not just here to arrest people and take people to jail all the time, but we have a job to do, but we want to help out in the community and be a part of the community as much as we can.
On top of alcohol, drugs are wreaking havoc on the reservation, particularly among young people.
You know how to get to Dale Warriors trailer?
Negative.
The captain goes to another housing development. A young man of around 20 is under the influence of drugs.
He told his grandma that he took some pills, but she also thinks that he might be on methamphetamine or fentanyl, or both.
Here, as throughout the country, fentanyl is responsible for many overdoses. This synthetic drug is up to 100 times more powerful than morphine. The young man is completely delirious. It was his grandmother who called the police.
Are there a lot of drugs around here?
A lot of it. I mean, not here, but, you know, everywhere. Meth, fentanyl, all kinds of stuff. We need help. This community needs help. I'm not the only grandmother or aunt, mother, or...
In the reservation, almost 85% of the residents are unemployed. Captain Campbell is in desperate need of resources to address this social plight.
Would anybody happen to know where 498 is?
It should be down in the Allen area.
10 for who do we have? Who else do we have working over there tonight? Jordan, Sergeant. So I got a few calls in the different areas on the reservation, and I need to make sure I get officers over there.
How many officers you have on the field tonight?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
For how big the area?
Well, last I knew, it was about the same size as Rhode Island.
In other words, over 1,000 square miles.
And I think they have on their highway patrol, for their Rhode Island State Highway Patrol, they have about 120 officers. So
It's 11 p.m. A young man of 25 has just attempted suicide.
In my life, I just want you to please end my life. Just please end my life. I don't want to be here no more.
He's under the influence of drugs. In Pine Ridge, the suicide rate among young people is 150 times higher than the rest of the country.
He's probably a few minutes behind me.
Enemy.
Although the situation of young people here is dire, young Native Americans have found a way to defy their situation thanks to an age-old sport. In northern Montana, on the Blackfeet Reservation, rodeo season is beginning. In the Carlson family,
Tony, come get behind this guy.
they've been riders from father to son for 5 generations. Tony, age 47, and his son Jesse, age 20, are preparing for the biggest competition in the region, which is being held tomorrow on this racetrack. They're not training for just any old race. They practice an extreme sport called Indian relay. The principle consists in riding bareback and making 3 laps of the track, switching from one horse to another after each lap at top speed.
Once you get good at it, it feels better than riding in a saddle. But yeah, you really need your balance so you could get off your horse, you know, faster. I've been doing it ever since I was a tiny kid, so it's like riding a bike for me. Alrighty, we'll get to the practice now.
Jesse trains with his father 4 or 5 times a week.
That's the one you want right there. That's costing you valuable seconds. If you get that right there, boom, boom, that was only 2 steps or 1.5.
It's a bad habit of mine as a first-year rider to keeping my hands on the horse when I shouldn't, when I should just jump off, you know? And I'm still trying to work on it.
In less than 24 hours, the young man will go head-to-head with the best local riders. The Carlson family live on the land of their ancestors. The ranch has some 15 thoroughbreds trained for the races.
I wish I was rich enough to have a diet.
Yeah. Have a dietitian.
Every summer, Tony and his 3 sons travel across the northwestern United States to take part in Indian relay competitions. The family boasts an impressive track record.
Last year. This was a $100,000 race here that we won. This is probably Canada's most prestigious race right here, right now. And this is one of the U.S.'s most prestigious races. So we won both of them last year. Yeah, this came with the trophy we won. Last 3 years, we've averaged $60,000 a year in earnings. Our jobs pay for our daily lives and our bills. All the money does is go to the horses and the travel.
If they win tomorrow's competition, Jesse and his father will pocket a $4,000 check.
Wave it.
At the reservation's racetrack, spectators have come from all over the region to watch this spectacular race.
A real horse culture, and Blackfeet always represent real well wherever they go.
Regarded as the oldest American extreme sport, the Indian relay was practiced by the Plains tribes before colonization. While it's increasingly popular among young people, it requires unusual talent.
Others might have tried to do that, and they know they can't, you know.
You think they're not native or they cannot do that?
They can't do that, no. I know they can't. They tried it. Was one guy did, yeah, and they admitted that they can't do that.
9 minutes. 9 minutes. We'll get that saddle horse race up. Okay.
For Jesse, it's all going to be decided in a few minutes.
Wish me luck in this.
Yeah, yes sir, man.
Young Money, To Medicine, and Dancing Boy Express.
His father, Tony, stands at the side of the track with his team.
Grandstands, here we go.
Jesse and his 3 opponents get into position.
Here we go. Coming down in the light room.
The young man gets off to a bad start and comes in last.
Dancing Boy Express out front. To Medicine and Young Money.
At the end of the first lap, Jesse has caught up. He's in second position. The first horse exchange is perfectly executed.
Dancing Boy Express. To Medicine is out front on turn number 1 on the south side of the track. And then Dancing Boy.
In the middle of the second lap, he takes the lead. But he's overtaken, and he's not quick enough at the last horse exchange. Coming into the final turn, Jesse makes a comeback. But he's unable to catch up. Victory eludes him. His father is disappointed.
Shit, baby. I just seen him turn. That guy hit you like that.
I know, I would have had a badass start.
Fuck, you had him smoking. Oh, what? Pierpont fucking rank when he left. Holy fuck, he did blow out.
Oh, what did you think of that, Jake?
Despite his father's criticism, the young rider doesn't lose heart.
But there's always a next time. Nothing's the end, you know. Always stay forward and just keep doing, keep grinding, you know. I have no shame.
Jesse and Tony can console themselves with going home with a $1,400 prize. In Seattle, Washington State, an American Indian has found another way to assert his identity by turning art into a business. At 50 years old, Louis Gong is one of the country's most influential Indigenous entrepreneurs. For this former educator, it all began with a few pen strokes on his trainers.
So I started off as an artist just drawing on Vans and Converse materials. But I was shocked when, like, the very first pair of shoes that I did, when I wore them to work after creating them, my coworkers like, man, those are amazing. Where'd you get those? And how can I get a pair? And that was really the foundation of 8th Generation.
In 2008, Louis founded his brand specializing in making wool blankets which are widely used by Native Americans. One of them would be seen all over the world.
This is the October 2023 issue of British Vogue, and it features the amazing Lily Gladstone, star of Killers of the Flower Moon, Leonardo DiCaprio, and the Coast Salish pattern blanket, which I designed. I think what's really important is the increase in capacity of Indigenous people to control their own art, to make their own money. It's an exercise in sovereignty.
Born into a poor family on a reservation, this entrepreneur never imagined that one day he would be so successful. He also owes his success to the city of Seattle. 7 in 10 Native Americans in the United States live in an urban environment.
It was a great place to be an Indigenous artist because there's tremendous supportive tribal communities in the area. The non-Native nonprofit institutions are very supportive. And so there were a lot of ways for me to get a foothold in Seattle that wouldn't have been available to me had I been in some city in the Midwest, for example.
With its buzzing cultural scene, Seattle is one of the country's most dynamic cities. Louis has successfully established himself as an unstoppable businessman, particularly thanks to his city center boutique.
Hey.
Hey, Louis, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. Hi.
It's been so long.
Can I hug? Yeah. It's good to see you. Hello.
Good.
Welcome.
See, there's a lot of new stuff. It's changed so much.
The chic minimalist shop sells all kinds of items, but the star product is the blankets.
Sort of stepping back from that question.
People absolutely love.
Everything in the shop is 100% Native American.
You're starting to see, that's Andrea Wilbur-Saigo's design.
It was as an adult that I realized that almost all of those designs were fake versions of Native art produced by non-Native companies. Across the country, Indigenous people spend millions and millions of dollars on blankets every year. But there had never been a Native-owned option, and so we have totally changed that for Indigenous artists all over the country, right? Would you say that?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But it doesn't have to be about Starbucks.
Right.
It's about the
It's about the decor, yeah.
Because
And his small business is successful. The ex-sneaker graffiti artist now has his own factory in the Seattle suburbs. Everything is done in this workshop, from weaving the blankets to printing the motifs. Louis has made it a point of honor to hire Native Americans, like Colleen, the CEO.
These blankets will be shipped around the world, around the country, of course, but we get lots of customers now from Japan, from Germany, hopefully from France, and just really like expanding the brand into a global audience is, you know, super important. And part of what you and I
With a 20% rise in exports, Colleen is looking to gain a foothold on the international market. 15 years after he began, Louis still can't believe it.
And so to look at like this, man, it's pretty unreal.
Sometimes people would like to think of Native people as like singing and playing a drum, instead of seeing us as community leaders, as business leaders. Native people have a part to play in this global business economy.
After centuries of massacres, violated treaties and discrimination, Native Americans are gradually winning their place in society and the American national narrative.